What's up, everyone? Welcome. I think we're live. I think. I need everyone to join me today and keep your fingers crossed. I don't know what is going on other than there's something wrong with my connection. I've tried my Wi-Fi, I've tried wired, and I've even tried a mobile hotspot. None of them seem to work very well. And the mobile hotspot actually just went to 0 connection speed. I don't know why. Anyway, we're going to give this a shot. Hope for the best. Hopefully everything holds out. I'm showing some dropped frames right now, but the number is dropping. The number is lowering, becoming less. So I think maybe we're okay-ish. What's going on? I got to get the chat here. I can't see a thing. Can't see nothing. Sorry about that. Yeah, it's a good thing I always come out here and I kind of get things set up ahead of time just to make sure, everything's good, the camera's working. I don't want to just wait till the last second and then find out, oh, I don't know, something's wrong with the camera or something like that. So today I came out and I plugged everything in and kind of got things rolling. And immediately errors from YouTube and the live and all that stuff. And I don't know what's going on. But let's give this a shot here. Let's see. Man, you guys are on it this morning. You beat me here by a long shot. Probably because you didn't have to mess with your own Wi-Fi. Terry's here. Terry says hello all. Right on. I got to scroll up. Hold on here. I'm missing live chat. Okay. Right on. Terry says hello, Mr. Jeff. Harry Dude's here. What's up? Hello all. What's up, Terry and Harry Dude? Good morning. Sam says, not going to be able to make the stream today. Have a doctor's appointment. I'll attend next week. No worries, Sam. Right on. Hope your appointment goes well. Thanks for stopping in, though, and saying hi. Right on. Have an awesome afternoon. Mike Johnson's here. Mike says, morning, Jeff and others. Mike, good morning. How we doing today? Right on. Mike says, must be that fiber getting delivered. It's funny that we joke about that, or that, you guys tease me about it. I am literally scheduled for tomorrow for them to start coming in and doing their thing. I guess tomorrow they're supposed to run lines to the house, and then Friday they're supposed to come back and do all of the whatever else needs to be done, the actual connections, I think. So tomorrow they're going to be here doing, I don't know if exactly, trenching, installing cable, basically, or however they decide to do that. Then on Friday, I think Friday morning, they come and actually get things hooked up. It can't come fast enough, especially after today. Oh, man, I cannot wait. We had a utility locator guy came out yesterday to locate everything, all in preparation for this install. So everything's still on track. I got an email as well as a text message from the fiber company saying, hey, we're going to be there Thursday. So I think everything's confirmed and we're good to go. I can't wait. Paul says, hello, everyone, except Jeff, since he can't seem to join his own live. That's punishment for making guitars that are not right. Paul. I'm sorry. Good morning to you too. Harry Dude says, anyone know what time it is? Tool time with your host, or maybe not. Yeah, I was trying. Paul, you need to go back to AOL dial-up. Oh, I never had AOL. I had the discs. Uh-oh. It says OBS is disconnecting. That's probably not good. Now it says it's reconnecting. I don't know if I'm going to drop out there. Oh man, this is going to be a struggle. I can tell already. Let's see. Mike says, looking okay from here. Right on. That's good. Robert's here. Robert says, howdy, people. Hope everyone's doing well, staying safe and healthy. Robert, we're doing great. Good morning. Cheers, everyone. Nice hot coffee. Time surfing! What's going on? Big Swede, what's going on? Testing 1, 2, 3. Check, check, check. We're trying. We're having internet issues today. I don't know what's going on. We're going to try to get through this, but if everything seems to go downhill, I might cut it short. Or if, you guys start experiencing a ton of issues, but we're going to see what happens. Because I got updates. Edgelight says, it's good to cycle the network gear, just reboot everything once a week. Yeah, I don't always do it once a week. I did do that earlier this morning when I first got everything fired up about 8:30 here. I realized that my connection was horrible. I reset my entire network, which is the routers and everything. That didn't seem to make any difference. So I went in and reset the little modem thingy that we have. That didn't make any difference. Of course, the laptop, I just turned that on, so that didn't need a reset, but yeah, I don't know. Robert says, sorry for the technical difficulties. No worries, Robert. No need to be sorry. It's just, it's something screwy on my end with the internet. That's why I'm hopeful for this fiber optic that we should have by Friday, if all goes well. Time Surfing says, between the hours of 8 a.m. and 5 p.m., make sure you're home. I know. Why? Why such a broad? It's like literally the entire day. Why don't they just say, we're going to be there sometime that day. If you're gone, you can't leave all day. Now, thankfully, school is on spring break, so we don't have to go anywhere tomorrow. But my appointment window is like 1 to 6 in the afternoon. So it's like the whole entire afternoon. That's not as bad as 8 to 5 kind of thing, where it's the entire day. Game of Call says, I think YouTube messed up my live. Oh, dropped last night. Ooh, interesting. Is there we have a theme going on here. David Wild Stallion Johnson. I like it. Says, hello, yes. Reminds me of the time I took down cell service in Minneapolis. There's got to be a story in there somewhere. I'm pretty sure. Sounds like it's probably a good one too. Maybe not, but Paul says, uh-oh, buffering. Mike says, I knew it wouldn't last. Oh no. Sorry guys. I'm not showing dropped frames right now. The timer's still running. I'm showing 0 dropped frames and the connection speed looks steady-ish. So, who knows? Robert says, finally got my front tires on my riding mower repaired a couple days ago. Nice, getting things ready. Yeah. I saw the other day in my yard a few dandelions growing. I don't ever remember dandelions being here in March. Usually we have cold and snow at some point in March. Dandelions. We are supposed to have record temperatures over the next few days. I'm like, if this keeps going, I am going to be mowing grass or weeds at least next month. Harry dude, as soon as you mentioned dial-up, it buffered. Of course. Robert says it froze briefly, but cleared itself. So I did watch the video you put out this past weekend. Nice. Yeah, we got that. We got that guitar neck done. I should have brought it out here. Right now it's in the house in a safe spot. I didn't think to grab it on the way out so I could show you guys. But if you saw the video, the neck is done, and I am now working on the body. I'm going to show you where we're at on that in just a few minutes. Let me finish catching up on comments here. Edgelight, we're on school break too. We're supposed to be in Myrtle Beach, but we have a couple really old dogs. We just couldn't leave for that long. Oh, yeah. Old Myrtle Beach. I remember going there as a kid. I was little. Haven't been back since, but yeah, Myrtle Beach was always fun. Mike says, you're okay now. 5 minutes ago? Not so good. Paul says, with the time frame, just look on the bright side. Since you're self-employed, you can take off any time to accommodate them, as long as your boss, Gina, approves. Yeah. Yep. No, it's my daughter and I are holding down the fort this week. Edgelight, here in Ottawa, Canada, still cold and lots of snow. Right on. Also, Edgelight, since you're in Ottawa and you were going to head to Myrtle Beach, well, no, I was gonna ask you something about passports, but I don't know if it's the same. coming from Canada to the US. I know we have to have one to go to the US, to go from the US to Canada. But is there something like, do you have to have one going the other way? I don't know. I'm not debating anything. That's literally asking a question. Big Swede says, if you were to drill out some abalone side dots, how would you commence? If I was going to remove the dots, like you're talking like the tiny 3mm dots or something like that. Not even 3mm. That's like, they're tiny. If I was going to drill out side dots. I'm just going to think about side dots in general as opposed to specifically abalone. If I was going to remove them, I think I would very, very carefully start by marking out the center. And I've actually had to drill out side dots before. So mine, well, first off, I had to redo them because I was building a guitar one time, and one of the holes had drifted, so they weren't exactly in line. I was on the fence whether or not someone would notice, but I noticed it, so I'm like, I got to fix it. What I think I would do, I'm guessing you're going to reinstall something else. I would very carefully mark out the center of them, however you are able to do that. You could eyeball it, which is, it can work. Or if you can, measure and mark and very carefully mark the center. And then I think I would start with a little bit smaller drill bit. Well, then it might cause it to drift. I'm trying to think this through. Well, what I did, this is from my own experience. When I re-drilled the ones that were bad, right? I knew that since one had shifted, there's no way I could re-drill the same exact hole. So I ended up re-drilling all of them with the next size bigger, and I got a larger inlay, a larger piece of material. So I drilled them out. That way, if you drill it out a size bigger for whatever your material is, then you've got a little bit of wiggle room, right? If you're a little bit off the center and you drill it with the same size drill bit, you could get a sliver remaining. And then when you glue in the new material, that's going to look weird. So when I did it, I drilled it out to the next size bigger material that I had. I can't remember the exact size. And it actually worked out really well. But you got to very carefully mark out that center. Really careful. So I don't really have a fancy schmancy way to do that, because that's how I did it, was just remark the centers and very carefully drill out with a larger bit. That's how I did it. I don't know if that helps you, but David says, yes, it was a story, and it's not good to start a large program in the middle of the day in the Network Operations Center. Oh, no. Robert says, I also had to change out the refill valve in my toilet last night. Only had to adjust the tightness on the water line once to stop a leak. Edgelight says, yes, we have to have one. Okay, yeah, I wasn't sure. Big Swede says 2. Do you have to drill out 2 of them? I'm guessing. Blonde Brownies, what's going on? Blonde Brownie says, just checking in to say hello. Well, hello, and good morning. Hope things are going well. Right on. Dastardly Dave says, sup all. What's up, Dave? How you doing? Matthias says, hello, sir. Cheers from Brazil. Right on. Good morning. Good morning, right? It's morning in Brazil. No, it's not. I don't know. Good day. I've enjoyed a lot of the acoustic guitar build series. Right on. Thank you. I'm glad you did. Right on. How are things going in Brazil? Hope you're doing great. Nice. That's so awesome. That is one thing I love about this. We can connect literally worldwide, and we are right now. I mean, it's just insane. What a world we live in. Robert says, my yard was getting high enough to need mowing last week. The weeds were getting tall. Then we had a cold snap for a few days and it killed back the weeds, so it's not currently needing mowed yet. Oh, Matthias says 12 a.m. Okay. I got that a little wrong. That's like, there's also an advanced driver's license we can use instead of a passport, but I don't have one of those. Yeah, I was reading actually. The reason I ask is because something came up in conversation here, at home. We're, as things do. And it was around the subject of passports or that enhanced ID or whatever it is, driver's license. And we were looking at the different requirements, right? So if you have the driver's license thing, you can drive, I guess, but you can't fly or something. But in order to do that, you have to have an actual passport. I don't know. But it was interesting trying to learn some of that, figure that stuff out. Paul says, tested the new router bit this past weekend. Scary, but nice cut. Didn't lose a finger. Right on. Yeah, I have seen those, Paul. So if you guys haven't followed Paul's page at all, Paul got one of those template router bits that takes like the carbide cutters, like you would put on a, I don't know, a jointer head or a planer head or something like that. They look a little bit intimidating, but really cool. And I've kind of wanted to try one for a while. Just never did. But yeah, Paul tried one out, and I'm glad, Paul, that you didn't lose any digits. So, the video last week was me working on the guitar neck, right? Getting everything shaped and sanded and all that. Now, the next step, I've been working on the body. You guys want to see it? Hit that thumbs up button if you want to see the body. I got it all cut out yesterday. Paul says, we have those in Texas because we've been advanced for years. See, well, there's a real ID, and then there's like an enhanced ID or enhanced driver's license. We have, I think, the real ID here in Colorado, but the enhanced one replaces a passport or something. I don't know. I'm not an expert on that. Robert says, yep, we had to get the new, what they call real ID. There you go. The last time I had to renew driver's license. And Robert says, yes, we want to see it. All right. Voila. Here is the body. How's that, right? Perfect, right? That's exactly what you wanted to see. I got the body cut out and it's upside down. Aha, look at that. Look at it. Just look at it. I've been working on sanding. Ugh, yeah. That is cool. I really, really dig this. And yes, Paul, it is a lefty, but the righty is, well, the body blank is ready for the righty. I have to spend a little bit of time and regenerate the tool paths, but yes, that is it. So this is the lefty. This goes with the neck that I finished in the last video. I've got quite a bit of sanding, unfortunately, but as always, but it's all there. All the contours are there. I still got to cut out the control cavity cover, but yeah, book matched black walnut. I think it's going to look awesome. Paul says, can't do another thumbs up, but please show the body. Edge light, nice. Walnut? Yes. Black walnut. Resawed from a board that I'd set aside when I was last year. I picked up a piece for the plaques, and it was wide enough. So when I was doing those plaques, I just set that board aside to use for guitar stuff. So, yeah. Paul says, she's pretty. So pretty. Even for a lefty. Thanks, Paul. I'll take that. Yeah, I am really digging this. So everything's there. The string through holes, the recesses for the ferrules, all of it. And as well as the contours. I got a bunch of sanding left to do. But that's really what I'm going to be doing probably. Well, a little bit today. I've already spent like an hour this morning sanding on it. Probably, I got several more hours probably to go. And meanwhile, I want to get the files. I want to get everything ready for the right-handed one. Because if I haven't said that already, I'm building two of these. I'm building twins, opposite twins. But Robert says, looks good. Nice. Thanks, Robert. Edgelight says, I saw a beautiful PRS lefty at along a McQuaid's, and it wasn't black. Oh, yeah, you told me that. Flame maple top with blue-green stain. Yes, PRS is one of the few that I'm aware of that you can get, I think, every model in a lefty. Maybe not every color, but they actually do more than just black. The main ones that are bad with the black are like Ibanez, Fender, all of that sort of thing. It's kind of bad. Now, Fender does offer a couple other colors. Like I've got a green, it's like I don't know what you call it, green bean color. It's not surf green or whatever that's called. It really looks like the color of a green bean. It's kind of an odd green, but I sort of like it. Got a weird green strat. I've got a black strat. Yeah, they just don't do all of the cool colors. Yeah. I don't know why. Yeah, PRS is one. There's a couple others, a couple other ones that do the lefties and the other styles. Paul says PRS can offer that because the MDF that they make the bodies out of is fairly cheap. Yeah, that's funny. Yes. Robert says, is the right hand going to be walnut top as well? Yes, let me grab that because I want to show you. Because I was going to kind of keep it on the down low, the righty. I'm definitely not doing the righty in any of the videos, but I'm building it entirely off camera so that I can still have two. See, I've got to build a righty because at the guitar show, I can't just take the lefty. Maybe one person might be able to play it if I'm lucky, other than me. So hang on. I'm going to grab that. It's right over here. And I'll show you. It's a pretty unexciting black walnut. Now, the cool thing is this, even though it looks sort of like there's a seam right there, this is a one-piece walnut top on this one, which I thought was kind of cool. I've had this piece of walnut. Now, on the end, it says like Argentinian or Argentine walnut. I don't know what that is. I'd have to look that up. It's a piece that I've had for a long while. I never knew what to do with it. And when this project started to come to life, I said, yep, it's going to be a one-piece guitar top. I kind of like that there's sort of, looks like a seam in the grain. I can assure you that it is not. And I'm going to try to line that up pretty close with the center line because this right here sort of matches the horn. See right there? I don't know if you guys can see this. I can't hold it still. Let me see if I can lay this on my... You see the grain right here? It kind of sort of matches the horn, which is pretty close to what sort of looks like the center line. I'm going to try to line all that up when I cut it out. And yeah, it's just alder, walnut. This is going to be the righty. All I need to do is reverse the tool paths. Or not reverse, mirror. Don't drop that and dent it. I just ran it through the drum sander this morning, so it's nice and flat. So, yeah. Let's see. Hey Dude says, coming along well. Should be shredding in no time. Edgelight says, Paul, don't be a hater. He just giving him a hard time. I like PRS myself. I do. Hair Dude says, saw the video about the neck. How did you go with the stainless steel frets? Honestly, it was no big deal, really. The hardest part, really, was using my fret end files to file the frets flush and then bevel them. That was the worst, honestly, and that was actually pretty tough. Mainly because it takes off like a fraction of material. Everything else, yes, they're a little harder when you go to snip them, but that's no big deal. Yes, they're a little harder when you go to nip the tang, trim the tang back, but that's no big deal either. Even filing the little bit on the inside of the tang to flatten it out, right? That wasn't a big deal. The only thing that was hard up till now was using these files to flush the ends up. That was pretty bad. But other than that, it wasn't bad at all. Now I haven't leveled and recrowned yet. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not, but actually I'm not, because I'm never looking forward to that. It's probably my least favorite part. But yeah, we'll be getting to that, and I'm sure it's going to go just fine. But other than it taking a little longer to level up, actually a lot longer, they're fine. I don't have a problem with them. Edgelight says, with the CAD, is it easy to flip to right? Actually, it is. So there, I have all the toolpaths that I used to make this one, right? So it generates the G code, everything's there. Once that's done in the CAD software, initially I thought you were going to have to maybe flip the body, mirror the body and redo the G code, but it's actually even easier than that. Once you have the G code done, which I do, all you really need to do is you make a copy of that. And I always rename. Renaming, I think, is very important when you're doing any of that kind of work. You've got to name your files. So I name these like left hand, Dorian, blah, blah, blah. I'll make a copy of that entire set of G code, rename it, right hand, blah, blah, blah. Then you select that G code and you basically can mirror the G code. You're adding it, they call it a pattern, which I don't fully understand that, but anyway, you're creating a pattern, and that pattern is a mirror, so it automatically will reverse the entire G code. So if you're cutting it out as a lefty, it's going to mirror it, and now it's cutting it out as a righty. The only other thing you need to do when you create that mirror pattern is it also mirrors the direction of cut, right? So you want to cut clockwise most of the time. I forget, they call it climb cutting conventional. I get those a little bit mixed up. The only other thing you need to do once you mirror that pattern is you have to go back in and change the direction of most of the cuts. Not all, like if you're just drilling a hole, you don't really have to mess with that. But for like the cutouts and things, I go in and change the direction so that it now is cutting in the same direction. And other than that, that's really about it. Then you just generate, you have to export the G code again. Now I rename everything right hand, and it's fairly simple. It's a lot less work than what I initially thought. Like, the very first time I did that, I was anticipating having to, like I said, mirror the body, then redo the G code and everything, but you don't. You do the G code once everything's good, then you go in and mirror it. It's really not bad. That's another reason why I like to start off with the left-handed guitar, because I can really, be hands-on with it. I can feel what the neck feels like, and it's not like I'm trying to understand a backwards one. If I need to make any changes, I can do that now, because then once I fix any issues, then I go in and mirror everything, and it's already taken care of. So that's the process, really. It's not hard at all. The hardest part is getting to this step in the first place. Robert says, that is a wide piece of wood, no matter what type of wood it is. Yeah, it's pretty wide, and I've been hanging on to it for a long time, but now it's now the top for a new Dorian. Paul says, I'm not. Various builders have to live with their conscience. PRS seems to be fine with that. One builder Aristides guitar makes them hollow and fills them with arium. They sound great. I don't know what arium is. Interesting. Edgelight says, I went to their factory in Maryland, and it was a great tour. I've done a bunch of those. Oh, and it was the best one. You could tell the people working there or loved working there and were proud of what they were doing. That's awesome. That's awesome. I would like to go to the Martin factory in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. Maybe this summer I can get over that way and check it out. But let's see how it goes. I'll have to see how it kind of falls into our plans, which aren't really plans as of much yet, but that would be cool. Paul says, is flipping the guitar going to mess up your code? No danger of that with the template? Just saying. I know, Paul. Flipping it over, once I have the code, like I just explained, once the code's done, which it is because I just made one, you just go in and with some clicks to reverse it, to mirror it, and then regenerate it. No, and it works really well. It really does. Robert says, I watched a video of a factory tour for a company that build little sister guitars. Interesting. I love the sound of that particular guitar. I've not heard of that brand. That's pretty cool. Norman's here. Norman says, that's what I tried to tell my guitar teacher with teaching left-handed player. Which one? What part? Yeah, see, I've gotten now to where I learn better, I think, from a righty than I would an actual lefty, because the thing that's cool, like, honestly, all of my friends are righties. So when I'm playing guitar with somebody and if we're sitting or standing kind of face to face, I can watch their hand, if they're, here's how you play whatever. And I just mirror their hand automatically. And it's actually gotten so it's really easy. So I could totally sit with a right-handed guitar teacher and you just mirror and learn. And I can't imagine looking at it the other way, trying to figure out what the heck are you playing, lefty. Oh, Norman says mirroring. Yeah, that's what it is. And it's gotten to be, for me, it's gotten pretty easy. Edgelight says, I've been to Taylor. That one was cool too. Oh, nice. Paul says, arium is a substance invented by Aristides guitar. It's used for providing a solid substance inside their guitars since they build the hollow. That's interesting. I'm not familiar with any of that. That sounds cool, though. Very cool. Yeah, but I am so excited. We're getting there. We're getting there. My goal is to maybe this afternoon work on getting the G-code configured in between sanding and hanging out with the kiddo. Maybe get the G-code reversed so that I can start cutting on this other blank maybe tomorrow. While I'm here anyway, I got to hang out waiting for the internet crew to come and hook me up with some fiber. Maybe I can get the righty cut out tomorrow. If not tomorrow, definitely Friday. I want to have both of these bodies cut out just to keep this thing moving forward. I would love to be able to pick this back up. Oh, I don't know. In a couple days and start applying finish, test fitting things, getting things actually installed. That'd be cool. That'd be cool. If especially my daughter and I were talking about it. It would be pretty awesome if I could get this together by the end of next week. And in theory, that's plenty of time to do that. I just don't know how much time I'm going to take, with her being home from school. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just going to say, oh, you're on your own. I gotta go out here for 12 hours today, and can't do that. But I am going to try to push to get this thing together as quick as possible. Next week would be amazing, but I don't know. Robert says, look up Little Sister Guitars and watch one of their sound demos. I think you may be impressed. especially the first one they built. They built a semi-hollow body design. Yeah, I'll check them out, Robert. Yeah. Heritage says every internet user needs fiber in their diet. I'll see myself out. Can you get some, what is that, Metamucil or something? Oh, that's funny. You know, I never asked. What are you guys working on? What kind of projects are on your bench? Uh-oh. Notifications. Yeah, so you guys, let me know. I know Paul's been busy working on some telly bodies. So what's everybody else working on? Harry, dude, what are you fixing these days? Norman says, have her work with you and make her part of the process. She has definitely been the process, part of the process several times. She's in, a handful of videos. I do enjoy working with her. Kind of messed up maybe to say, hey, get out here and sand for me. She'd be like, no. She's heard me grumble and groan about sanding enough that I think she understands. It's not the funnest. No, she's helped me with it before. Yeah, I don't know. I might be able to get her to help me a little bit. Come out and sand a little bit of stuff. And then we can go get ice cream or something. I don't know. Yeah, I love working with her out here. I'll take the times I can get. Time Surfing says, trying to teach what little I know about guitar to my wife. Right on. Yeah, that's awesome. Is she wanting to learn how to play? That's cool. Rick Ash is here. Says, hey Jeff, how you doing? What's up, buddy? Rick, how things going? Good morning to you. Edgelight says, I did 12 repairs, setups in the last couple weeks, and I'm still working on a CBG that I've been working on for too long. Right on, CBGs. Yep, I still got mine, the one that I did the end of last year, the real slim, thin one. I haven't listed that on the website yet because I want to kind of make sure it sticks around, at least until after the guitar show. I have found that people really like those things. And there's so many people that have no idea what a cigar box guitar even is. The amount of people that'll come up to it and go, wow, what is that? And you're like, really? So you just, then they want to play it and check it out. So I definitely, although I want to sell it, and it absolutely is for sale, I'm not really pushing that one because it's the only one I have for sale, and I want to take that to the guitar show. Harry Dude says, swearing at LED stage lights tonight. Power supply issues. Oh no. Sorry, Harry Dude. Robert says, nothing on my bench, just the mower and toilet on your bench. Got a lawnmower and a toilet. Man, I saw a mower listed. Somebody on my local marketplace had a mower listed for like $50. Said it wouldn't stay running. And it was like a 22 horse V-twin engine, or maybe 25. I don't know. It was a good size engine. And I'm like, man, if I had a trailer, I would be all over that for $50. And yeah, but I don't have a trailer. I don't have an easy way to go haul it. Yeah, I want to say it was a 25 horse V-twin. Seems high. Maybe it was 22. I don't know. It was a 20-something horse twin. That'd be a great swap for my lawnmower. Rick says, having coffee. Right on. Right on. Edgelight says, I made one out of that same box, the same one that I had. Really slim. Yeah. Nice. That's awesome. Edgelight says, I didn't know what they were 3 years ago, and I've made 23 so far. Yeah. That's awesome. Right on. Edgelight says, you should go to the Southwest CBG Festival in New Mexico this summer. It was awesome last year. Really, where at? What part of New Mexico? Because that would be fun. Depending on what part of New Mexico, I mean, I may only be a few hours away. Robert says my mower is a 42-inch Cub Cadet ZTR. Yeah, I would love a zero turn myself. This was an older riding mower, maybe early 2000s era. And yeah, they said they just couldn't keep it running. So they're selling it for $50. Basically, it was kind of just one of those get it out of my yard kind of things. And I'm like, oh, it's probably not hard to fix. Edgelight says, San Sidro. Yeah, I don't know how to say that. Where is that? I'll have to look. It says, I drove by your house, but didn't know it. Oh, did you? How do you know? You maybe did. I'll have to look that up, see where that is. I gotta open that up right now, just so I know, so I don't forget. I tend to forget things. If I don't open a tab, you know what I mean? San, yay, how do you say that? Sidro. What? New Mexico. I gotta see how far away it is. Oh, that's quite a ways. It's like more than a couple hours. But yeah, I'll keep that in mind though. That'd be kind of cool. Paul says, finally broke down and bought a Dell mini PC for use at home. It sits all alone amid the Macs and Raspberry Pi machines. I think I would adhere an Apple sticker to it so it feels wanted. Edgeye says it's Dell Puckett's Festival. I did the sound edit. Oh, wow. Well, that's cool. Right on. Very cool. Yeah, I got to see when that is. That's awesome. Yep, so that's what I've been working on. Working on guitar bodies, gluing up body blanks, flattening, thicknessing, generating G-code, cutting, and now sanding. Oh boy, it's the worst. So yeah, so far, so good. Now Edgeye says, I'll pick you up on the way by. Hey, I'd be down. That'd be cool. Swing by, I'll just like stick out a thumb, throw me in the back of the truck or whatever. Actually, that would be kind of fun. I gotta find out when it is though. We're trying to figure out what we want to do this summer. So depending on when it is, maybe I might be able to do it. Send packing. Rick is here. Says I'm late. Hi everyone. Rick, good morning. What's going on? How are you this fine Wednesday morning? Right on. Oh, Norman, I saw your CNC comment. Norman says, cleaning up and moving my CNC to my extension table, then cut a body. Right on. Yes, Norman. That's what Norman's working on. That didn't show up earlier. Must be taking its good old time. Right on. I don't know. One thing I ran into on this body that I don't recall as bad on other bodies, but I've got a little bit of a, let me see. Can you see those little lines right there? Apparently, my CNC does weird stuff. Not just mine. I have one of the first generation Onefinities with the older BuildBotics controller. Apparently on arcs, sometimes it like segments the arc, and that translates into your workpiece sometimes, but not every time. I can't understand it. So that's going to be a little interesting to sand out. But I contacted the Onefinity team. I'm like, why is this? What's going on here? And they said that that's how this original controller handles arcs. So I'm considering potentially upgrading my machine to one of their newer controllers. I don't know. It's kind of expensive. I don't know. We'll see how frustrated I get when sanding those out, because it is kind of annoying, especially in those tight curves. You know, I noticed it down here as well, but I can just take a sanding block and get rid of that. In those tight upper areas, it's a little harder. So that's one thing that I'm not super happy about. So I don't know. I gotta ponder maybe making an upgrade. Paul says, see, you just listed the processes that you use to make bodies and have proven beyond a doubt that templates are faster. Since I don't have to do G-code step, templates infinitely superior. Paul, you, from start to finish, yeah, templates are. The templates are hands down faster. They are. I'm not denying that. I'm not trying to even defend the CNC kind of thing. I'm not. It's just, I think I explained it once upon a time. That's just something that I've wanted to learn. But once I have everything done, I would say that, well, I don't know. Yeah. If the template's already ready to go, yeah, you can cut out a body way faster. Then you still have to go in and do the contouring and all that stuff, which isn't all that bad either. I'm not defending either method. I'm not. I don't have a problem with either one. I've done so many guitars with templates. It's just, this is just something that I wanted to learn, and I've really been enjoying it. Well, even though it's frustrating. But now I can load a body. Once I get this right-handed G-code done, I can load a body in there, and it's just pressing buttons. Let the machine start doing the work, and then I can come back and sand. I can do something else. I can go eat a sandwich. I can go run around outside with the kiddo. Anything like that. Yeah, I don't have a problem with it either way. I know you're just kind of razzing me on that, and I'm totally fine with it. But yeah, you're right. From if you already have the template done, it's faster. It is. Edgelight says second last week of August, if it's the same as last year. Okay, yeah, I got to keep that in mind. Rick says, I've glued up a maple body blank and walnut top for an upcoming build. Are you copying me on the walnut? No, not really. I got this body blank glued up, only this is not maple, this is alder. Alder and walnut. This is going to be for the right-handed Dorian. And then, of course, I got the left-handed one, alder and maple. Let's see here. Sempekin says, show the latecomers like me your guitar so far. Oh yeah, sorry, Rick. Yes, this is the left-handed body that I cut out yesterday. I'm now in the sanding process, trying to get everything done. Alder body. This one in particular is book-matched black walnut. The other one that I just showed you is also alder body, but it's a one-piece walnut top. I wanted the light and the dark because I wanted this contrast. I wanted to show that once everything was carved away. And I really like it. So far it's really coming together nice. I couldn't be happier at the moment. Except for the fact that I've got quite a bit of sanding yet to do. Who could be happy about that? Edgelight says, I have a CNC machine, but I'm going to try templates first. Edgelight, I think that decision on your part is extremely wise. I would highly, highly recommend to anyone that you know how to put a guitar together using a template, right? I was going to say from scratch, but this was from scratch. Know how to do it that way first. That way you get more of an understanding of kind of what's required once you move to CNC. If you jump straight to CNC, there's just some things that I feel you should have that experience first. Not for any sort of, I don't know, elitism sort of thing, but I just think that, how do I want to say that? I just feel that you should have that experience first. You know, it gives you more of an understanding of the whole operation when it comes to machining and cutting. And, you know, if you know when you're doing a template that, oh, I have to cut it in I have to cut this first. Oh, I got to joint, you know, I got to get the blank ready, and then I cut the neck pocket, then I cut the pickup cavities, you know, whatever. All that translates over to CNC machine, and I just feel that by starting with templates, I think that's a smart move. I highly recommend that. I think, bam, 2 thumbs up to you. Norman says maybe fix the code to set it back a bit to adjust that part with a file and less sanding. Oh, are you talking about up here where I had those weird lines? If I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, that's I did already go in and adjust the code a little bit to see if I can account for some of that. But what I ended up with at first was this bevel right off the machine was a little bit off. I only had a little bit showing of this alder. Even though the bevel in my test looks just fine, once I actually layered it with this top, I did go in and adjust this with a file. It was way quicker. It was like 5 minutes as opposed to going into the G code, you know, the model and changing all of that. I just said, heck with it. It's close off the machine. Then I can adjust it. Same with these, a tiny bit of adjustment. It's really, some of that stuff is just easier to do by hand. And Edgelight, back to your point, that's where having that experience from doing stuff by hand, right? Without a CNC, when this came off the machine, I only had a sliver of the alder showing. Rather than going back in and modeling it and spending all that time, I already knew from past experience that, shoot, I'm not changing the file. I can grab my rasp in a couple of minutes. I can have this fixed exactly where I want it. It's so much faster for stuff like that to just do it by hand, just fix it. And so that's what I did. But if I didn't have that experience from using templates and that sort of thing, then I wouldn't know that necessarily, right? That it's so easy to just take a file or a rasp, a couple of passes, and it's done. So again, I commend you on your decision. Build from a template first. Paul says, just messing with you. I've thought about a CNC and started building one, but life got in the way. I know you're messing with me, Paul. I'm okay with that. I really, truly am. I can take it. I'm a lefty, by the way, right? We're used to getting razzed. Let's see. Edgelight says, just wanted to build tellies anyway. I love tellies. That's the first guitar I ever built was a telly. And actually, I think I want to redesign my version of it and make another one once this is done. Paul says, you build instruments to put music in the world. Nothing wrong with that. There you go. Paul says, I work in IT, so I don't trust computer anything to run without supervision. Yeah, I mean, especially when I'm testing stuff, once I've done a few tests, I'm a little more comfortable to walk away and go, you know, at least not stand right in front of the machine for 5 hours, 4 hours. Robert says, do you have one of that sander attachments for a drill that looks like a rolling pin with a drum roll for sandpaper and the handle to hang? Yes, I do. That may help sand the curve. You're right. I've got a homemade one. I actually did a video on that a while back. My drill mounted rolling pin sander. It works pretty good. I bent the shaft, so I almost need to make another one that has a little bit bigger shaft. This is a 1/4 inch rod. I should use like 3/8 or something, but it works. It works good. We got bearings in there, bearing mounted and all that. But since I bent the shaft, it's got a slight wobble to it. It's totally my own fault. The problem with these, okay, this is my 2 cents. In theory, these are awesome. In theory. And in actually, I mean, they are helpful in real life, but you got to be careful. When I first saw these several years ago, whatever company manufactures them, I think Elevate Lutherie, I think is where I first saw them. Not sponsored. I thought these were the coolest invention. I'm like, man, I really want one of those, but it's too expensive. So I ended up building my own. What I found is that you're drilling along, right? You've got this chucked in your drill. If you don't have this perfectly flat on your side, acoustic guitar, whatever the piece is, it's possible to sand a divot in one side. Even if you place this down on there and you find the edge, right? That split second where it's tipped has the potential to give you a nasty divot. So you really have to have a careful hand, steady, light touch, I would say. And I also don't use a very abrasive, a real coarse grit for that reason. I don't want to remove a ton of material if it takes me a millisecond to find that edge. But that's the one thing that I've found with these, is you can get a little off kilter. I heard a slam. So Rick says, no, not copying. I thought you copied me after doing the last tally I did. No, I'm just giving you a hard time, Rick. It's fine. I know. Paul says, I do think CNC would be better with some of the custom ones that I do. Easier to do, and code takes up a lot less space than templates. Plus, once bought, I don't have to keep buying template stuff. That's true. That's true. You can make your own. Because I cut this out as a test, but I mean, really, it's basically a template right there. Yeah, it's just one of those things, right? That I wanted to learn. I wanted to learn how to do that. I wanted to learn how to 3D model and do all of that kind of stuff. There's stuff that you can do that I don't know how you do it by hand. The fan frets multi-scale that I'm doing on this one, I have no idea how you would cut those if not on a CNC machine. I really don't. I'm sure there's ways you could come up with some creative jigs for a table saw, but it's a lot easier to just use the machine. Norman says, as you would by hand? Yes, is what I meant. A rasp would be better than a file. Yeah, you're right. I could get in there with a file. The one I was using left some nasty rasp marks, which I'm still sanding out right in here. But that's going to happen, right? So then you just still got to sand. So I'm like, well, maybe I should just sand from the beginning. I don't know. There's a bunch of ways to do it, really. Jimmer's here! Jimmer says, sanding sucks. Seen your TikTok yesterday. Yeah, it's the first one I've posted in a long time. Trying to get better, get back at some of that stuff. Norman says, need my glasses as the phone keyboard's too small. Off to the shop. Have a great day, everyone. Right on, Norman. You have a great day, too. I'm glad you were able to be here, stop by. Have an awesome day. Paul says, gotta go. Have a great week. Jeff sent you a link for Aristides Guitars' cool video tour on YouTube. Their guitars are pretty phenomenal. I'll check it out. Right on. Harry Dude says, catch you all next week. Just finished up at work. Time to hit the road. Stay well. Right on, Harry Dude. Bam. Safe travels back to home. Right on. Have a great day. KK's here. Right on. KK says, I greet you all. I wish my brother Jeff always success. He and his family have a good time in Greece. Like everyone else in Europe, we run and don't get there. Love from Greece. Right on, KK. How's it going? Right on. Hello to you and the family and everyone in Greece. That's awesome. Robert says, maybe something like that mounts to the drill press and just lock the depth and use it as a mini drum sander. Yes. I do have some sanding drums that are made for the drill press. And those work pretty good. But yeah, something like that. I could make a bigger one. That's a good idea. I also have a spindle sander. I don't use it a lot. Maybe I should break that out for this. Again, it's because if you're not careful, you can get a divot, even if without tipping it. You just got to be careful. A light touch. KK says, and bam, right on. Edgelight says, I have a couple of 3D printers and love the CAD part of the hobby. I think I'm going to enjoy the CAD for seeing guitars even more. Yes, if you enjoy the CAD and the design, you will absolutely love this and pull your hair out. Unless you're a much better designer than I, and I don't claim to be a good designer. Because most of my designing, I'm still learning. Right? I've been doing this for a while. I feel like anyway, several years. 4 years, 5 years? I don't know. I've been using the program. I still struggle with some figuring out how to do things, but I'm getting better. This is the second entire guitar that I've done. And it gets easier. You just have to keep working on it, right? Keep practicing design. Doesn't even have to be guitars. I often tell people, I've had people ask, hey, how do I learn it? How can I get better at whatever CAD software? And I'm like, just design stuff, right? That's what I did. Again, I'm not an expert, but you just design things. Instead of going online, finding a 3D model, because I guarantee you can find a model for whatever you're looking for, just design it. That's what I started doing. I made a decision a while back after downloading a thing or two. It seems like whatever you download doesn't fit whatever it's supposed to fit for the most part. Not because it's designed poorly, but printer tolerances and all kinds of different things, right? I said, you know what? I'm just going to design stuff myself, pretty much no matter what. And that's what I do. If I need a piece, I start from scratch. A friend of mine, Jim got a hold of me the other day. My buddy Jimmer here. Said, hey, what about a thing? I need a thing to do a thing, right? Okay, look up some dimensions and I just draw it up. And other models out there? Yes, there are. But I try not to use them because, one, I don't want to copy someone else's design. But more importantly, to me, it's all practice in how do I create this thing. There's different ways of extruding, right? You can stretch like a guitar body up. You extrude it up, whoop, which gives it thickness. But there's other ways. You can revolve extrude. So you can take a cross section, draw that, and then extrude it around to create some sort of a round cylindrical device, Jim. But there's a bunch of different ways. And if you don't know how to do that in the program, maybe there's certain aspects you're going to run into when designing something that if you don't know how it works, you don't know how to design it necessarily. Doesn't sound like it made sense, but hopefully you get it. So yeah, the CAD part, important. Know your CAD software. Senpakin says, well, time to get down to the shop and finish some work on a Fender Jazz a client brought me. Changed out the tuners. Fender sucked, replaced with Schaller. Okay. Oh, yeah, you were looking for those. Okay, so you replaced them. Nice. Okay. Made 100% better. Need to polish the frets. Right on. That's awesome, Rick. I'm glad you got that repair worked out. Very cool. Robert says, going to have to help a lady with her computer later this afternoon. She needs help installing some software. Cool. Edgelight says, what is your favorite software to design guitars? I don't know if I have a favorite. I've got a couple different ones. I don't know if I have a favorite necessarily. They're all, some are free, some are not free, some are more involved than others. I don't know if I have a favorite necessarily. I have a couple. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I have a favorite. The favorite software would be the one you're most comfortable with and that you know the best. I know that's really vague, but if you want more information, shoot me a message. Robert says that lady that is the YouTube channel 3x3 Custom does a lot of 3D printing for jigs and tools for woodworking. Yes, I do the same thing. I use it for all kinds of stuff. I'm just going to try to reach into this drawer here and see what we can find that is 3D printed. Of course, like right here. There's a couple. That's a side dot jig for drilling side dots. Right, so that would go on the edge of your fretboard. There's a little hole right there. I could install a drill bushing. That's 3D printed. I've got a couple different heights, different 3D printed jigs. I've got a 3D printed truss rod access drilling jig for a J-base. It's 3D printed. Yeah, but being able to create jigs and fixtures is really cool. Just like I did in the video last weekend when I was working on the neck, right? By having this digital file of my neck, you can pretty much instantly create a negative jig that my neck fits in, which allowed me to line it up on the laser. There's so many uses for stuff like that. It's really cool. Edgelight says, I design my own stuff too. It's so much fun. Yes. I fixed so many problems with my 3D printer, car parts, gun parts, guitar tools, guitar parts. Yeah. Yes. See, so you got it. You understand. There is an unlimited amount of things you can do with it. Once you really start to fully understand the capabilities, right? It's so much more than just, printing figurines and stuff like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying at all. If once you know what you can create, it's really cool. It's very addictive. Sam Packin says, celebrate your day, Jeff and everyone. Right on, Rick. Have an awesome day. We'll talk to you later. Moogie says, is tonewood a thing when it comes to electric guitars? Oh no. We're gonna open that can of worms. I'm hesitating. I think I'm debating on how I want to answer that. I absolutely have my own opinions on that. I think for an electric guitar that the amount of the amount that the wood affects the guitar, I think, is a very small amount compared to what the pickups and things do. When I was designing this guitar right here that I'm in the middle of working on, I can tell you without a doubt that I paid zero attention to the wood choice. The only reason I decided on the wood that I decided on was because there was a certain aesthetic that I wanted. This is going to give me that aesthetic. I am not concerned with the you're going to get different opinions. But my opinion is I've got really good pickups. I've got good hardware. I've got good electronics that are going to be going in here. I think that makes more of a difference. Mainly these right here, those pickups. I think that makes more of a difference in electric guitar. Now, am I saying that it has zero effect? I don't think that's true. I have built one guitar that I built comes to mind that makes me think, okay, there's more, there's a little something to it. But I still don't think it's a lot. I built one time from reclaimed wood, all from pallet wood, like reclaimed pallets. And the body is pine, soft wood. It's very light. And that guitar is so resonant, the body. When you play it unplugged, I mean, you can feel it like resonating through you. I mean, it's kind of weird to explain, but the whole thing is so resonant. Now, when you plug it in, it just sounds like an electric guitar to me, right? When it's unplugged, it totally sounds different than other guitars, mahogany body or a Strat. Who knows what the Strat's made out of. Unplugged, it makes a difference, but we don't play electric guitars unplugged. We use pickups. So I think that you probably do get maybe some slight undertones, maybe a little bit of coloration in the sound, tiny bit from the wood, but overall, it's just not something I spend a ton of time on. I focus more on, I want to have good pickups. I want to have good hardware. And I want to have good wiring, good electronics, good grounding. I want to have all of that. The wood choice for me, it's really more aesthetic than for the sound. I really, truly don't spend any energy thinking about, well, if I use maple, it's going to be brighter sounding, and then I don't think about that. You can, what do they say? Fight me in the comments. Not really, but I just don't think it's as big a deal with electrics. Now, acoustic guitars, 100%. It does make a difference. But we're talking solid body electric guitars. I don't spend any energy trying to determine the best wood species for sound. Hope that answers the question. Edgelight says, the neck shaper behind you had 3D printed parts. Yes. All of the green is 3D printed. That was early on. Those were some of the very first bits that I 3D printed ever, that I designed myself. They were very early on. I was pretty happy with that. Jimmer says, all true. Plus, it's a starting point to fine tune. Yeah. Edgelight says, have you thought about doing a podcast and bring others in to talk about shop stuff? Yes. Yes, and I would like to do that. I would like to do a podcast. My challenge has been, how do I do that consistently? I think I would enjoy a podcast. Maybe I take in Q&As and I answer questions in the podcast, bring in guests sometimes. Maybe I should try that just to see. I don't know. Who would listen? I don't know if we're talking video podcast or audio only. I think it'd be kind of cool. I wouldn't mind trying that. Edgelight says, maybe after you get the fiber. True. Which is hopefully tomorrow. By Friday, we're supposed to be connected. Robert says, it might be a thing if the guitar design is hollow or semi-hollow body design. Might make a bigger difference in sound. Robert, that's a good point. And that's not something that I'd thought about just a second ago. It could potentially make a difference if the guitar is hollow. But still, most of the time, we're not listening to the guitar through the sound holes. You know what I mean? We're listening to it through the pickups. You might get different resonance or something, to your point, through the pickup, but the pickup is picking up the strings. I don't know. You might. Jimmer says, been on here a couple times. Yep. Talking about on the show? Yes, you have. One of the first lives we did was in Jim's garage, hanging out. I think it was the absolute first one. And remember that, Jim? We had to do it twice because I accidentally went live on the wrong YouTube channel. Remember that? So many years ago, we were sitting in your old Jeep in the garage. Cool. Anyway, guys, I think it's about time to wrap this up. I'm going to get back to sanding and, working on some G codes so that I can turn this other guitar body blank into a right-handed guitar. But, yeah. We're getting close. Still got a ways to go, but it's getting there. And Jim says, yeah, we messed it all up. No, I did. Not we. You didn't mess anything up. We spent like an hour hanging out and then realized, oh, it's on the wrong channel. So we did it again. Robert says, the pickups and electronics are the main things that govern the sound quality in an electric guitar. Yeah, and that's what I spend the time on. I don't spend time on worrying about the wood choice. I really don't. For an electric guitar, like I said for this one, I chose these because it's going to look the way I wanted it to look. So that's literally the only reason. But doesn't mean anybody else, if you got different opinions, I'm totally cool with that. Anyway, Robert says, stay safe and healthy, everyone. Have a great one. Right on. You guys, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm going to get back to work. I don't know if this video is going to be ready for this weekend. If I can get it edited, it might. We'll see what happens. It's either going to be out this weekend or next weekend. We'll see how things go. Thanks a lot for hanging out, everyone. I appreciate all of you taking some time out of your day to hang out with little old me here at Home Built Workshop. You guys, stay safe, stay well, get on your shops, build some cool stuff, have some fun, enjoy yourself. Never stop learning things either. Thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody. I appreciate you. We're out of here. End. Take care. Thank you.